Hey guys, it's Oliver White of Ground-Based Space here, and I just wanted to start with an apology. Um, it's been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded a video, and truth be told, I've just had a lot going on, and I was a bit burnt out, and I needed to take that break. So yeah, sorry about that, but I'm back. We've got quite a lot to go over from the last couple of weeks, and slight change to this week in space. I like the sound of it. This week in space has a nice ring to it, but I'm doing the past week, so it doesn't quite work. So instead of this week in space, we're going to change to last week in space. So without further ado, let's just jump into it and see what happened last week in space, or in this case, the last 2 weeks in space. So we're going to be looking at the 31st of August all the way to the 13th of September. The 2nd of September saw an SLS rocket booster being tested in Northrop Grumman's facility in Promontory, Utah. Flight Support Booster 1 was fired for around 2 minutes. It was a massive flame coming from that rocket. Incredible to see. The sheer power in it was incredible, and yeah, once the Artemis project gets flying, obviously there's some tests to do, and an unmanned test flight, I believe, that's planned for next year, but I know there's a few delays and whatnot, but we'll see. Hopefully it happens, because like I say, it's a crazy powerful rocket, and just seeing one of those fire was incredible enough. So when we see the actual rocket launch, yeah, I think that's going to look absolutely incredible. Also on the 2nd of September, the ESA and Arianespace had a successful reflight of the Vega rocket, successfully launching mission VV-16. 53 satellites from 21 different countries were taken up into orbit and successfully deployed in the first of the ESA's new ride shares as part of the Small Spacecraft Mission Service Shared Launch Concept, or SSMS for short, a move that hopes to open the market even further for the ever-growing small satellite industry. This one was really fun to watch. The Vega rocket took off successfully and moved very quickly. It's quite a small rocket, so it's not surprising, but it moved very quickly. It was cool to see, and it's my first time watching a Vega launch, so I was impressed and can't wait to see the next one. On the 3rd of September, we saw SpaceX launch 60 more Starlink satellites on a Falcon 9. They were deployed successfully, and 9 minutes after liftoff, the first stage landed back down on one of SpaceX's drone ships. Perfectly as always. Not much more to say here really. These launches at this point are kind of standard. But that being said, well done SpaceX on another successful mission. Later that day we saw a little more from SpaceX when they launched the SN6 for its 500-foot or 150-meter test hop at SpaceX's Boca Chica, Texas test facility. The majorly impressive to watch hop was visually very similar to the SN5 launch from a few weeks previously, though on landing, SN6 looked somewhat off balance compared to SN5. Preparations are already underway on both SN 7.1 and SN 8, meaning it won't be long before we see even more from the SN series. Also on September 3rd, Rocket Lab announced that they had launched their own spacecraft into Earth orbit. The Photon-type satellite, this one named First Light, launched on an Electron rocket on the 30th of August as a technology demonstrator. The Photon is being designed to carry payloads to several locations, including the Moon and Venus, with the latter being a really exciting prospect, as Rocket Lab are planning a Venus mission for 2023. We'll have a video all about the Photon on the channel soon, so be sure to look out for that in the near future. On September 4th, China launched an experimental reusable spacecraft into Earth orbit. The spacecraft was successfully launched atop a Long March 2F rocket, But that's about all we know, as China has been pretty predictably lacking at sharing any details. Personally, I do find it a genuine shame that they feel the need to be this secretive when it comes to the space side of things. Ultimately, we're all working to the same goal, but it's just the way of the world, unfortunately. September 10th saw NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine announce NASA's intention to buy samples of lunar soil from commercial partners, a move that will likely encourage private space firms toward lunar exploration. This seems to be NASA looking to kind of kickstart trade of lunar materials around the world, a move I'm not sure I personally want to see made so commercially, but at the same time, it will encourage a small boom in technologies intended for lunar exploration, and that can't be bad, can it? What do you guys think anyway? Let me know in the comments. Moving into the 11th of September, some of you may remember Oumuamua from a few years ago. It was the first known interstellar object to enter our solar system. There have been some really interesting theories about it, ranging from everything, including the theory that it was some kind of spacecraft. But now, a new theory suggests that Oumuamua may actually be some kind of giant space dust bunny. It's a strange one, but kind of makes sense if you look into it. I recommend looking it up and seeing what you think. I think it's actually quite a good theory. A shame it's not really some kind of, intergalactic aliens using a giant rock to travel through space. Also on September 11th, Northrop Grumman has announced its next Cygnus cargo capsule will be named the SS Kalpana Chawla, after the first Indian-born woman to enter space, who was sadly lost with her 6 crewmates aboard Shuttle Columbia in 2003. The SS Kalpana Chawla will launch on mission NG-14 aboard an Antares rocket on the 29th of September, on a mission heading to the International Space Station. Lastly, on September 11th, Californian startup Astra launched their 3.1 rocket. Astra had expected failure, but this was a shame nonetheless. The rocket launched. It was in the air for about 40 seconds and then just lost power and crashed back down to the ground with quite a big explosion. Astra, however, still intend on having a rocket in space within 3 attempts. On Twitter, Astra said, "We are excited to have made a ton of progress on our first of 3 attempts on our path to orbit. We are incredibly proud of our team. We will review the data, make changes, and launch Rocket 3.2, which is nearly complete." So I guess we can expect to see another launch from them in the near future, and I do hope they make it to orbit, because I know as a company they're not necessarily doing fantastically at the minute, and the failure of another rocket might see them go down, but let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. The 12th of September saw an announcement from California-based Momentus and Made in Space Europe on a new partnership that will see the testing of robotic arms on Momentus's Vigoride space tug, and they plan to launch a demonstration mission in 2022. NASA's mission to the Jupiter moon Europa on the Europa Clipper mission is somewhat at risk, with project lead saying a new rocket is needed. US Congress had previously mandated that the Europa mission had to use an SLS rocket, currently being developed for the Artemis program. But with SLS still in development and its priority really being the Artemis, it is looking less and less likely SLS will be available for the Clipper mission. The mandate does state if available, so there is an option for a commercial partner to launch the mission instead. In that situation, I can probably see Elon coming to the rescue with SpaceX's Falcon Heavy, but who knows. Clipper is set to launch before 2025, so keep an eye on it for the next few years, I guess. But in terms of planning, I'm pretty sure they need to decide on a rocket sooner rather than later. And that's been last week, or for this occasion, the last couple of weeks in space. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been informative. That's my main thing with this channel, is I just want to help other people learn about space and come to realise how much actually goes on around the world when it comes to space. So yeah, if you do like what you see, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below. If you don't like what you see, comment, let us know what you don't like, and maybe we can make that change, who knows. You can find us on Facebook at Ground-Based Space, where you might find some content that we don't put on here. Yeah, be sure to follow us there and subscribe here. And that's it for this video. Like I say, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it, and remember, keep looking up at the stars, because who knows, one day we might just meet each other up there. Take care, guys.